I don't want to do Captain Sheridan again. I did it. I did. I don't want to do, well, Tron is a different story. I think Tron is going to happen again, hopefully, in 2013 for 2014 release. And I'll reprise the role of Alan Bradley and Tron again in some younger body. I love Tron, I do. I actually, well, because it's lived longer. Tron actually, in its own naive way, predicted the world we're living in now, the age of information, the computer world, and the video game world. So it's actually more current than Babylon 5 or any of those, I mean, as far as science fiction is concerned. Plus, there's an entire audience that has grown up around it now, young people that weren't even born when we did the original one, and so I'm very thankful for it because they called me up and they wanted me to be in the next one. I was very thankful because they didn't have to. Well, that's an interesting story. On the original Tron, we were not up for an Academy Award for animation in the year 1982 or 82 because they said we had cheated. That we weren't animation because we used a computer. Well, all animation is done by computer now. There's no such thing as someone drawing something, you know. They draw it on a computer. So, anyway, that's all I know. I would love to do a great love story. I really would. If anything, I want to do a love story again. A straight-on love story, because I haven't been able to do that in a long time. And in real life and in fiction. And anyway, that's okay. I want to do something different. All actors want to. I don't want to rest on my laurels. So, anybody else? Sir.
Hi. Have you seen Star Trek in the balcony? And how do you feel about the portrayal of your alter ego, of course, if you have seen it?
No. Where was it made?
Sweden.
It's I don't know in Sweden or in Finland.
That could be why I haven't seen it.
Watch it.
Is it?
Watch it.
Oh, I love it. I have a good joke on myself. I do good. I love it. Anyone else? Stefano, my good friend.
Alla fine degli anni 90 hai scritto un paio di romanzi di fantascienza.
Yes, I did. Frontier Earth Searcher. Yes.
Al di là del fatto che se ci raccontassi qualsiasi cosa sul perché sul padrone di questa cosa te ne saremmo grati, io volevo farti una domanda specifica. Leggendo il primo, l'unico che è stato pubblicato in Italia, ho notato che pur non essendo un romanzo non particolarmente lungo, riesce comunque a tracciare un background abbastanza complesso, cioè riesce a definire un intero universo di razze diverse, di questi come dire, sorta di guardiani.
Un attimo, stai.
Do you want to get up here?
Sorta di guardiani, insomma, quindi ne fa crea un background piuttosto complesso, perché mi è venuto il dubbio che all'inizio il progetto fosse magari quello di la sceneggiatura per una serie televisiva o qualcosa di simile. È qualcosa che ho capito solo io o è effettivamente così?
Stefano, that was the idea, yes, to start a series. Understand that I did that in the last 2 seasons of Babylon 5. I started on that. It took me almost 2 years back and trying to do that. I was approached during Babylon 5 by a publishing firm and a publisher named Mark Greenberg, who published Arthur C. Clarke. I mean, many great science fiction and crime fiction authors. They came to me because if you remember, William Shatner had many books that he had done. Okay. Well, he did have a lot to do with it. Yes, he did. Actually, yes. But you know, he wasn't a writer. I had help on mine too. I had an author named William Keith help me structure the story because I mean, you know, I'm not a novelist, but I had a story to tell that I wanted to tell, and they were good enough to publish it. I mean, I'm sure there are some writers like one back in the room that goes, "Oh, damn him," you know. No, but you know, I had an opportunity to do this. Now, my intention was to tell a story that I thought could be a television series or a couple of movies. Unfortunately, last year a movie called Cowboys and Aliens came out and seriously bombed. It killed all my chances. I have been trying to sell Frontier Earth for 12 years or more. Sam Raimi's production company has it right now. They haven't done anything for over a year with it. I think when Cowboys and Aliens came out, you have to understand in Hollywood, when they see something similar, and if it doesn't work, they run from it. They don't want to have anything to do with it. So, a science fiction Western right now probably wouldn't be a good sale. Now, here's what I am doing. I'm trying to pursue the video game industry with it. I know, Stefano, it would make a better TV series, but believe it or not, the sophistication of video games now is becoming more and more incredible to me. And PS3 is marvelous. My sons have sort of educated me on these things. And I think maybe there's a way to adapt the story to a sophisticated video game, in which I can tell the whole book and have the player be able to be various roles in it, and so on and so forth. There's all kinds of possibilities, but right now, I couldn't get anyone interested in it. I was just happy with the books, and the people like the books. I think they're great. I've been asked if I would want to do any more books. No. I had the one story I wanted to do, and that's it. You know, I mean, I don't really have the muse anymore. It's a lot of work, and I'm too lazy. But anyway. Thank you, Stefano. Yes, ma'am.
As a director, what kind of movie would you like to direct?
Believe it or not, I like to direct a very small picture, like a very kind of, only a few characters to start with. I had the opportunity to direct Scarecrow and Mrs. King. We went off the air before I could do it. Kate had directed two of them. And that's where I wanted to start to learn the directing trade, because I was interested in that as well. Most actors are. Babylon 5, we were never allowed to. Stephen First was the only one that was ever going to do it. But he had already some directing credits. But Joe Straczynski did not want any actors directing. So, okay, that's fine. You know, he's the boss. But I think a small character piece, I don't know, a love story, or maybe some sort of coming-of-age story with some young people. I feel I can work with young actors very well. Something on a small basis, because then you graduate to something bigger, perhaps. But a small independent film would be kind of nice. Who knows? Who knows? You know? Thank you. Oh, God. Why did I not guess that Juicy would have something to say? Here she goes. Yes, ma'am.
L'ultima puntata di Babylon 5 è bellissima, è anche molto triste. Flora la sa che ho pianto tantissimo. E l'ho vista solo una volta proprio per questo, perché è stata malissima. Volevo sapere se abbiamo qualche aneddoto su questa puntata.
Oh, I have a little big story for that. I do. You have to remember in the fourth, we had a 5-year story. 5 years. On the 4th year, we got canceled. Of course, every year we were going to be canceled, but somehow we survived. Suddenly, we were going to do we had to wrap up the story. And Joe wasn't prepared to do that. We had to think of a way to wrap it up. So when we got to the last episode, Sleeping in the Light, you have to understand we were all very, very sad. Very, very sad. The show was, all the actors really loved their roles. They loved the show. We felt it our mission to do the 5 years that Joe had set out to do. Then we got this news that all actors, when you suddenly find out you're going to be canceled after this long time, we were very, very sad. So he wrote a beautiful script, especially for Sheridan and Glenn. I think so. Like I said, I got to do material that I would never be asked to do at that time. And I got to play this man from a young man to an older man who never got to really get a lot older because he had given up years of his life. Remember, in the 3rd season, I had to give up 20 years of my life. And so he knew that the day would come when he had to leave. He would die, not as a very elderly man, but as an older man. So I grew my beard out. I started on Intersections in Time, was it? Where I was being interrogated, remember, by the Inquisitor there. I started to go and shave it, and I started to grow the beard, and then about 3-4 weeks later I had a beard and everything. And so that I could play the older Sheridan. Joe had a beard then, so Sheridan had to have a beard. Joe Straczynski, John Sheridan, Jeffrey Sinclair. Is there a pattern here? Yes. So, anyway, when we did that episode, it was amazing because even the actors that weren't working that day came to the set. The secretaries out in the offices came and sat under the camera, sat on the set. Everyone weeping. It was not hard to weep. It was like a mourning. We were all mourning the end of the show coming up, and we felt we had failed. We didn't get to finish the saga, and so it had a lot of resonance. I mean, it was a very heartfelt episode. It's so beautifully written. I don't think I'll ever have a more beautiful exit out of a series than the bright light shining. And it was very emotional between Mira and myself. We had become very, very close during all of this, and it wasn't hard for Mira to recall saying goodbye to loved ones that were going to die, because she'd come from the war-torn Yugoslavia, and it was very real to her, those kind of circumstances. So, like I said, I would look out, we'd be sitting there and there's the camera, and I'm seeing everybody, all sitting, all the tears, people. It was very tough, very, very tough. And we had a huge party. And they wanted to take a big picture of all of us. Now, I don't know if you've seen that picture here in Italy, but there's a big picture of the entire cast up against this wall. And we're all posing, and we're all giving a certain gesture towards the network, towards Warner Brothers, towards everybody in the world. And it comes from this. This, it's that. In America, that means you know where you can put this. And I've signed many of those pictures. That's a very, very popular picture. So that was, Then suddenly, suddenly we get this call that the TNT Turner Network wants to pick us up. So suddenly now we're back in it, we're all joyous, oh my God, it's all, you know. So Joe has to try to cobble together now everything. That's why the 5th season seems, it's not quite, it feels cobbled together. Do you know what I mean by cobbled together? Just sort of trying to fit things back together again, and then he had to try to tie up at the end of the 4th season. So now, so he did. And we also did 4 television movies, which I loved. So then I had to shave the beard off. And we got picked up when we started this movie for TNT where it's called In the Beginning. So now I've got to be the young officer, the young guy way before Babylon 5. So then I cut all my hair off, got sort of a military cut, and dyed my hair to be now 20-something, which I tried to talk very high. Anyway, but it was really challenging. It was a lot of fun. We were very, very ecstatic, very happy that we got picked up again. And then we got sad again a year later when that show was, we were coming off of that. And there were rumors going around that there was going to be a spin-off. TNT wanted a spin-off called Crusade. And but none of us were going to be in it. And then it got sad again.